My name is Matthew Cioni. I am one of the owners with my wife Gianna of the Crows Farm here at Skagit Valley. We farm and lease land at Viva Farms, which is an incubator program, which provides us with land and infrastructure and things like equipment rental. I have been a farmer for about 6 years professionally now, and it's all been at Viva. We started here with 1 acre and now we are at 8 acres. And originally when I first started farming was with a restaurant that had a 1/4 acre garden that they supplied the restaurant with. So I was a cook and also the gardener or farmer for that restaurant in Vermont. That was several years ago, and that's when I really started focusing on making sure that we were producing really high quality vegetables that were uniform and consistently available. So that was probably about 8 years ago. So all in all, it's been about 8 years of farming in some sense of the way. Working at that garden definitely sparked my interest of farming and what we can do, and looking at a 1/4 acre scale, I knew that we could efficiently scale that up to 1 acre, and we did. And essentially our little model came a lot from that garden where it was a lot of Italian vegetables being grown, and that's a lot what we do now. One of the best things that we have available for us in farming is our community. I think Skagit Valley has some of the best resources available to farmers of all sizes. We have tons of community support. We have folks who really help us with our fertility, with our pest management, things with our equipment. If equipment breaks down, there's a lot of resources in Skagit Valley to support farmers of every scale. And I found that people who work with big farms, 200, 300, 400 acre farms, will give us really nice attention, the same attention as some of the bigger farms. So we have a lot of community support where folks are aware of local produce and how valuable it is for their health and for the community. Farmers markets, the food co-ops, the food banks, there's so many support systems to help farmers get their products out there. And really we would not be able to be successful and scale up unless we had the support of our community. And that's why we wanted to farm, was to bring a positive impact on our community and our environment, because we know that organic farming really helps us provide our community with a product that's healthy, they could be creative with, and at the same time being environmental stewards, taking care of land. It's a beautiful place to do it, so we're really happy to have the resources of Skagit Valley. And it's just a beautiful place to come and do work, and the environment, the climate's beautiful, so there's all kinds of benefits that we found from farming here, and it's one of the reasons why we landed in Skagit. Some of our best selling things are herbs, which is a big category of things. We grow somewhere between 15 and 20 different herbs, things like chives, rosemary, thyme, oregano, all these things, parsley, basil, very, very popular. But also our tomatoes, they're really beautiful, they taste delicious. Our salad greens are very popular. We love doing new creative items out there, either into restaurants, into the CSA boxes, out into the co-ops. One of the harder vegetables to grow for us, I would say, has been fennel or radicchio. They're both what I say are finicky. Then everything happens really fast in the summer and you can't put things on the back burner. Both of those are very finicky and rather hard to grow. But we like to take on challenges and try to perfect our systems so that we can provide a very nice product. We've been rather successful and we're still learning, and every year there's new challenges. So one year something might grow really easily, and the second year it might be a disaster. It's really hard to figure out what it is that vegetables need. One section of a field might grow a crop really, really well, and then for some reason in the middle of our field, there might just be kind of a dead spot, and it's hard to say why or what it was, but usually there's always something to come up against almost every single day in farming. You really need to keep ahead of things and keep a vigilant eye on what's going on and not put things on the back burner when things really start to amp up, which is pretty much right now in July, August time for us. COVID has for sure given us some challenges, especially since a lot of our products are for restaurants and chefs particularly. So we, in the early season, had to reassess some of the things that we grow for chefs specifically. We scaled back a little bit on those products like edible flowers, herbs, and added things like broccoli and cabbages and winter squash, things that we know are really hardy and things that are shelf stable. We've tried to adjust our systems a little bit, but for the most part, we've stayed true to our systems and it's paid off. The community has really picked up a lot. CSAs and the boxes that are going out to either food banks has really helped our farm stay moving this year. Our sales and our avenues of sales have really stayed true, and a lot of the grocery stores and things have actually picked up in sales. So we're seeing a different kind of demand this year. For the most part, we're still doing well and on par for what we want. So I think a lot about being a farmer, successful farmer, is being able to be flexible. You just have to take what the situation at hand gives you and you have to adjust accordingly on the fly. You have to constantly reassess what you're doing and change, and if something doesn't look necessarily like it's going to be worthwhile to grow, sometimes you have to just cut your losses and rip the Band-Aid off, till it under, and it's compost for our soil at that point. This year we had a really rough June. It was really cold, it was really wet, which is normal for this part of the country, but a lot of the crops didn't really do well in June. But I've found other things compensated for it, where cilantro didn't do exceptionally well this June, but our salad greens absolutely loved the chilly, wet season. So we were flexible with, let's try to focus on our lettuce and let's work with what Mother Nature's giving us and not trying to work against Mother Nature, because once you start working against it, that's a losing fight in our book. So we try to grow things that really grow well in our environment. But with climate change affecting a lot of the country, it's really hard to predict where things are moving. So you have to be flexible in this occupation. And that's something that's just instilled in, I think, a lot of successful farmers are hardworking, flexible, and able to adjust on the fly.